Disclaimer: the following video discusses historical torture methods for educational purposes. Viewer discretion is advised, as some of the content may be disturbing. This video does not promote or glorify violence in any form.
Imagine being trapped inside a metal bowl, your screams echoing as you're roasted alive. Sounds too horrifying to be true, right? Well, throughout history, these and other insane torture methods were actually used. Stick around, because today, we're diving into 8 of the most terrifying ways people were tortured. You won't believe how far humans have gone to inflict pain. Welcome to Whatever World. If you enjoy exploring the most bizarre and unbelievable facts from history, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our shocking stories. First up, the Iron Maiden. No, not the band. This medieval torture device was a coffin lined with sharp spikes on the inside. Once a person was locked inside and the door closed, the spikes would pierce their body without hitting vital organs, keeping them alive in excruciating pain for hours or even days. Talk about a slow, painful death. Next, we have the rack. This device was designed to stretch the human body in ways it was never meant to. Victims were tied by their wrists and ankles and slowly stretched by turning a wheel, causing their joints to dislocate and bones to break. It wasn't just physical agony, it was mental torture too, as they could hear and feel their own body being torn apart. Ever heard of the phrase, putting the screws on? Well, the thumbscrew was a small but brutal device used to crush the fingers or thumbs of prisoners. It might seem minor compared to the others, but the intense pain from bone-crushing pressure was enough to make people confess to almost anything. Now, let's get to one of the most terrifying devices ever conceived, the Brazen Bull. This hollow metal statue was shaped like a bull, and the victim was placed inside while a fire was lit beneath it. As the metal heated up, the person inside would be roasted alive, and their screams would echo through the bull's pipes, making it sound like the bull was roaring. Gruesome, right? This next method, called Scaphism, might just be the worst on the list. It was a Persian form of torture where victims were strapped into a hollowed-out log or boat, covered in milk and honey, and left to the mercy of insects. Over time, they would be slowly eaten alive by bugs, leading to an agonizing death over several days or even weeks. This wasn't just physical torture, it was psychological hell. Up next is the Spanish donkey, a torture device that sounds as painful as it looks. It was a wooden triangle that victims were forced to sit on, with their weight pressing down on the sharp edge. Sometimes, additional weights were tied to their legs to speed up the process, causing the body to literally tear apart. If you thought things couldn't get worse, let me introduce you to the breaking wheel. Victims were tied to a large wheel, and their limbs were smashed repeatedly with a heavy hammer. After breaking all the bones in their body, the wheel would sometimes be hoisted up, leaving the victim to die slowly from shock, pain, or dehydration. And finally, we have one of the most gruesome methods ever recorded, flaying. This method involved slowly peeling the skin off a person while they were still alive. Death would eventually come, but not before hours or days of unbearable pain. The psychological trauma alone would be enough to make this one of the worst torture methods in history. These methods remind us of just how dark human history can be. If you found this video as shocking as we did, make sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments which method you found the most disturbing. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and we'll catch you in the next video on Whatever World.